San Francisco Giants record book. 22 hits, the most ever by the San Francisco Giants in a 9-inning home game in this park or any of their other home ballparks. Now with just 2 games left before the break, the Giants hope to get on a roll and create momentum for the rest of the way. Game 2 of the series coming up next. It's a beautiful night at 24 Willie Mays Plaza, the beautiful downtown home of the Giants. Game 2 of the series. It's the Giants and the Phillies. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller along with Mike Krukow. Welcome to San Francisco Giants baseball. And last night, everything went well. Madison Bumgarner had 2 hits and might have said he hit better than he pitched. And even then, he only allowed 2 runs in that ball game, a 15-2 victory. Tonight, the Giants send Ryan Vogelsong out, Mike. And Vogelsong, last time out, was pitching very well before he got ejected from the game.
Well, he promised he would not get ejected in this game. But if you look at his year, I mean, he started off horribly. His first 5 starts, his ERA was in the 9s. And then he figured it out. His last 12 starts, his ERA has been 2.67. The Giants expect a good outing from Vogelsong. And I think they can expect a few runs tonight. The offense has definitely woke up.
All right, so the Giants and the Phillies, game 2 of the series. And we'll come back with the lineups and then the first pitch right after this.
Favor in the new Maui Zowie Supreme Pizza, and with RoundTablePizza.com you can order online from almost anywhere, even your own luau. Only at Round Table, the last honest pizza. Number 1, Vogie, stay in the game. Don't be getting kicked out of this one. How about an offensive carryover? That's our number 2 last night, 22 hits. I'd like to see that same thing tonight. And momentum towards the break. Big game tonight, big series this weekend. Very important for the Giants to get that good feeling going into the break. Those are our Round Table key ingredients.
Here's the batting order for the visiting Phillies, brought to you by your Northern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. It'll be Odubel Herrera, center field. Andres Blanco, second base. Maikel Franco at third base. Ryan Howard back in there at first base. Carlos Ruiz, who homered last night and is hot right now, he's the catcher. Cody Ashe in left. Dominic Brown in right. Freddie Galvis at short, hitting eighth, and David Buchanan just up in the minor leagues to make the start, all facing that man, Ryan Vogelsong, going for the Giants.
16th start of the year for Vogelsong, 6-6 with a 4.10 ERA. You're going to see a guy who's got a fastball, low 90s with great command of both sides, slider, curveball, and changeup.
And a first pitch fastball for a called strike at 91 miles an hour, so we are underway. The official game time temperature 66 degrees, although my little thermometer says higher than that. That's a foul out of play. Back into the crowd, and it's 0-2.
The thing that Vogelsong does so well with the fastball is use the two different grips, the four-seam and the two-seam grip. He really understands the importance of movement, mixing up movement, and mixing up location. When he's on, you're going to see him shave the corners with that fastball consistently.
Herrera with a .266 batting average, .295 on base percentage. Right there, outside corner, got him looking, one away.
Let's take a look at that defense the Giants will employ tonight behind Ryan Vogelsong. Starting in their outfield from left to right, it'll be Blanco, Pagan, and Pence, the best arm in right field. Crawford and Duffy on the left side of the infield. Panic and Belt, they'll be on the right side. Buster Posey, he'll be in the squad, putting down the sides.
Andres Blanco, who's hitting .280 and a .349 on base percentage. And it's 0-1. Every pitch has been a strike so far for Vogelsong.
Well, and that's important because the strike zone tonight with Todd Tichenor, the plate umpire, it can be tight. But if you let him know you're going to throw strikes early in the game, he'll start looking for them.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, with Tichenor behind the plate, it's Gabe Morales at first, the crew chief, Dana DeMuth at second, and Tim Timmons. He is the third base umpire. Two balls and a strike. Another changeup, too low.
The other thing, too, about Tichenor strike zone is you don't get a lot of strikes called outside the knees, meaning you pretty much have to put the ball to the glove of the catcher. If he sits up, if Buster sits up on the outside part of the plate and the strike comes across the inside part of the plate, you're not going to get that. You have to be between the knees with Tichenor.
And there's your point being made right there. 2-2.
And because of that, there are times when you get it going and he's looking for strikes, you could stretch that strike zone by the way you set up as a catcher. If your pitcher is hitting you between the knees, you're going to get strikes.
And that's too low. So it's a full count now, 3-2 with Maikel Franco on deck. The Dodgers hosting the Brewers at Dodger Stadium. So we'll keep an eye on that one when they get underway. That is out of play off the left field line. Well back into the lower decks. Still 3-2. The sun shining very brightly in the eyes of Hunter Pence out in right center field for the Giants right now. You see the rest of the field is covered in the dark shadows, but right center is still lit up in the brilliant sunshine. Check swing. Did he go? No, says Tim Timmons. So it's a walk for Blanco.
Oh, let's take a look. Did he go? No. Good call by Tim Timmons,
who did not get to look at a slow motion replay. So here now is Maikel Franco. Franco, who started the year in the minor leagues, and he looks like a player. 286 average, 342 on base percentage. His slugging is over 500. 10 homers and a solid line drive to center field for a base hit, and it bounces away from Pagan. And over to third on the error goes Blanco.
That's a big 90 feet because now it sets up a runner at third base with less than 2 outs. I mean, it's a tough error. It's one thing that, you know, managers and coaches are not going to get mad at a player for a physical error. I mean, he was aggressive, coming in hard, trying to keep Blanco at second. Physical errors they have no problem with. Mental errors, now that's a different thing. Let's see, Blanco, he kind of is going to stop, and all of a sudden he sees an opening. Just good alertness there by Blanco, and it's an easy 90-foot advantage.
And the Phillies' leading home run hitter, Ryan Howard, to the plate. 14 homers, 41 driven in. The home run and RBI leader of the team. Only a .218 batting average, however, .265 on base percentage. And if you can make him hit a ground ball, you can get a double play. Ball one.
Going right in on his hands with the cut fastballs. His strength is middle away, and he can extend beyond at the outside corner. And he has had good numbers lifetime against Vogelsong.
So a walk and a single. And Vogie's in a jam here. Check swing and a foul, an inadvertent foul off to the left. 1 ball, 1 strike. Been a lot of talk about the Phillies being willing to trade Ryan Howard, who has seen his career really start to disintegrate. But 14 homers about halfway through the season, and there he chases that curve in the dirt, blocked by Buster Posey, keeping Blanco at third.
He'll go right back down there in the dirt again. I mean, it's one thing he has always done. He has chased breaking balls in the dirt. There is a disadvantage defensively right now. Hunter Pence is looking right into the sun, a bright sun. Any line drive that's hit his way is going to be a tough play. As you see the swing and miss, and that ball in the dirt. And this is the area that is tough. You can see how he is looking right into the sunshine.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And that is a base hit. The Phillies take a 1-0 lead as Blanco comes in to score. Stopping at second is Franco. And Ryan Howard with his 42nd RBI.
Kind of mixed feelings for Vogelsong. I mean, you get the ground ball, but it finds a hole. And I have to believe that he was pitching for the strikeout, but that's a mistake to location. That's right out there at the belt. And with Howard, he doesn't give an infielder a lot of time. He will limit your range by how hard he hits the ball. Panik had no chance.
On 1 now to Carlos Ruiz. Ruiz has been very hot lately. Last night he had 3 hits, including a home run and a double. And it cuts a little bit off the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Cannot cheat defensively with Ruiz. He'll hit the ball from line to line. I mean, this is his range. That's where he can hit the ball fair. Everywhere, and because of that, you see the defense straight up.
This could be 2. There's 1, and Panik to first. Double play. The ball not hit that hard, and they turned it quickly, which was the only way it could have been turned. Giants coming up. truth in engineering. Joe Panik hitting in the number 2 spot, back of Angel Pagan, who leads off. A great night for Pagan last night. And Panik, third in the National League in hits, and he had 4 last night, as did Matt Duffy hitting third. Buster Posey, the catcher. Hunter Pence in right. His 5th career grand slam was the coup de grace in that big 4th inning rally. Brandon Belt at first base. Brandon Crawford at short. Gregor Blanco starts in left field, and Ryan Vogelsong, the pitcher, batting 9th.
On the hill tonight for the Phillies will be the right-hander David Buchanan, 25-year-old right-hander, actually 26-year-old right-hander. About a year's time in the big leagues, this is what he has done at 5 starts. Still looking for his first win. ERA at 8.76. He's a 4-pitch guy. Low 90s fastball, curveball, slider, changeup.
0-1 to Pagan.
Depending on how he grips the fastball, it'll go anywhere from 88 to 91. That's about the slot that you'll see him in. He has to be a guy that pitches to corners. He can't make mistakes out over the plate with that fastball.
Brian Howard, and he'll take it himself. Pagan is retired.
Let's take a look at that defense the Phillies will play tonight behind Buchanan. Starting in the outfield from left to right, it'll be Ashe, Herrera, and Brown. Galvis and Franco on the left side of the infield. Blanco and Howard on the right side. And Carlos Ruiz, he'll be in the squad, putting down the signs.
Joe Panik, and it's 0-1. Buchanan made 20 starts in the big leagues last year for the Phillies and had a 3.75 earned run average. But this year, he opened the year with the ball club, and he just got shelled over and over again. And the changeup, and it's 0-2.
First 2 pitches he threw Angel Pagan, the same sequence. Fastball followed by a changeup. Does the same thing here with Panik.
And a foul quickly into the seats. 0-2. Cole Hamels, most runs he ever gave up in a start. Last night, his 2nd shortest outing, and by far the worst that he's ever thrown against the Giants. He just got shelled, and in that 4th inning, he could not stem the tide. The Giants kept one hitter after the other getting a base hit. On to the count to Joe Panik, who will be headed to the All-Star game after tomorrow's game. That is just foul. Right past Tim Timmons, the third base umpire.
You know, over the course of the season, you watch the way that Joe Panik defends the strike zone. And when a pitcher makes a mistake up, I mean, he'll square that up. I mean, he is almost... I mean, he really reminds me a lot like Pete Rose, because he defended that area so well.
Up the middle, base hit.
I mean, that's hit number 101 on the year for Panik. I mean, that's a remarkable first half for a guy who came into the season and he didn't have a full year of big league experience. Changeup with a 2-seam grip. He goes right back where it came from, and that was a good location pitch. That was not a hanger. He can hit.
Matt Duffy now. Duffy into the game hitting .292. Way outside as he was showing bunt.
And the Phillies, they played Franco, the third baseman, back. And Duffy is a good bunter. If they're going to play him back, that's an open invitation to drop a bunt down. And even if you're going to take a pitch, it's not a bad idea to show that, because now Franco has to come in at least even with a bag, and that shortens his range, gives you a better chance to get a hit.
That one is off Buchanan, and no play. A base hit for Matt Duffy with Panik over to second.
It got him on the wrist of his glove hand. Fastball, yeah, just on the back of the wrist. I mean, that cannot feel good.
No visit from the trainer. All of the Phillies infielders came in. The catcher, Ruiz, to see if he was okay. So now Panic at second, Duffy at first.
Buchanan's making some mistakes up. This is where you can get him.
Buster Posey, 303 average, 373 on base percentage. And it's 0-1.
See the ball come right back up the middle off the wrist. And to the good fortune of Matt Duffy, it didn't carry him off to an area where an infield could make a play.
A ball and a strike now to Buster. Hunter Pence on deck. Giants down 1-0, but they have an early threat here against Buchanan. 14 homers, 57 driven in for Buster Posey. There is Dominic Brown. And the runners hold.
Brown's got a good arm.
Time for our BMW Drive, the ultimate driving machine at Bay Area BMW.com. It was Hunter Pence with the grand slam in the 4th inning off Cole Hamels that capped the 8-run inning. Only the 18th right-handed hitter for the Giants to ever have hit a home run out there.
I mean, he smoked it. There was no doubt as soon as it left at bat. You saw the reaction from Cole Hamels, who threw it. He knew it was gone without even looking at it, just by the sound of it.
Pence, who has 20 RBIs in 21 games this year. He's spent most of the early part of the season on the disabled list. Giants have hit 5 grand slams, the most of any team in the majors. They've only hit 1 3-run homer, but 27 2-run shots, which is tied for 5th in all of Major League Baseball. 5th out of the 30 teams.
Good changeup. It's odd that you would have more grand slams than 3-run homers.
Brandon Belt has the only 3-run homer of the year for the Giants. If Pence were to hit a home run right here, that would be a 3-run homer. He's had 7 RBIs in the 3 games that he's played since coming back from the disabled list. 2-1. Brandon Belt, the left-handed hitter, is on deck. Panic at second. He's the possible tying run. Duffy over at first. Base hit could tie the game. Down the right field line toward the foul pole. It is foul this time. Right in front of the bricks where a fan who had his glove came up with the ball.
One thing we've seen the last 2 days, it is a bit unusual. Watching Hunter Pence take batting practice, he has really worked the right side of the field. Normally batting practice, he just gets up there and starts hacking. Where it goes, it goes. But the last 2 days, he really has been using this side of the field. Paid off for him last night.
2-2 the count. 2 on, 2 out. And that one gets away. The runners will advance. And that puts 2 runners in scoring position now on Buchanan's wild pitch.
Well, that could affect this pitch because all of a sudden there's an open base and Buchanan does not have to throw a strike. 2-seam fastball in the dirt. Ruiz, who's a good ball blocker, does everything right and still scoots underneath his glove, hits him on the hip and kicks away. Fastballs and split fingers are the hardest pitches to block.
Full count to Hunter Pence. Strike 3 called. And the inning is over. He froze him with that breaking ball and he got him. 1-0 Phillies after 1.
Annual stretch drive is happening right now. We are in the second day of it. You can still donate tomorrow, but why when you can donate right now? It is named, of course, after the Giants Hall of Famer Willie Stretch McCovey. All the money raised goes to the Junior Giants program, and there are so many ways that you can pitch in. If you donate at the $50 stretch level, you pay for one child to play baseball an entire season. You can go for more, though, $440, and you support a full team for a season. There are all kinds of levels that you can donate at. Check out Junior Giants. That is jrgiants.org for all the information. Lines are open right now. John and Mike.
Thanks to Amy G. And we hope you'll be able to make a contribution as Cody Ashe goes down on the first pitch from Vogelsong here in the second.
Hey, we want to thank Amy G for dinner. She brought all the crew sandwiches from Lucchese's up in Petaluma, great sandwich shop. So, Amer the Gamer, thank you for dinner.
And we had our choice of the Amer the Gamer sandwich A or an Amer the Gamer sandwich B.
That's how big she is up in P-Town.
and I enjoyed mine, but I just can't remember if it was A or B.
Well, I had both.
Oh. Now that's a good idea.
I solved the dilemma.
Dominic Brown, the hitter. 1-0. The Phillies are leading. On a pop-up. Crawford. Backpedaling. The wind started to carry it, but he was able to catch it for out number 2. At the last, it wasn't easy at the last. So here comes Freddie Galvis, the Phillies shortstop. Dodgers and Milwaukee are in the top of the second inning in LA. No score there. Brandon Beachy is the starting pitcher for LA. And Galvis takes a called strike. .276 average, which is very good for him. He's always been excellent with the glove, not so strong with the bat. He got off to a spectacular start with his offense back in April, but tailed off considerably from there. But he's kind of leveled out now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, nobody on. And Vogelsong. 2-1.
Got underneath that breaking ball a little bit, had a little push. And usually the way you correct that is think, I want to throw this with a higher elbow position. Ideally, your elbow should be higher than your shoulder when you throw a good curveball.
Broken bat. Crawford out again. And that is the inning. It's an 8-pitch inning for Vogie. Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford, and Gregor Blanco, 3 lefties coming up. Giants down. Toyota's summer blockbuster sales event. Get blockbuster deals at every Toyota in stock now. Get a sneak preview at buyatoyota.com. Most doubles in the National League this season. Todd Frazier, who will be the third baseman from the Reds in the All-Star game for the National League. Andrew McCutchen of the Pirates, Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs, and then Brandon Belt. Frazier, by the way, hit number 25 today in Miami. So Belt just a couple out of the league lead in that category, as he leads off here in the second against David Buchanan. 23 doubles, 3 triples, 9 home runs, a .350 on base average for Brandon Belt. And it's 0-1. Crawford on deck. Blanco due up third of the inning. 3 left-handed hitters in a row for the Giants here against Buchanan in the second inning. Giants had a couple of hits in the first, Panic and then Duffy, but could not score. Hit well to left field. Ashe. No. Off the fender. The 24th double of the year for Brandon Belt.
And I think the thing that the Giants are so excited about is he's doing it the other way. This little breaking ball that just sort of hangs out there a little bit up and just stays inside it and gets backspin on it. And Ashe never really had a chance. Ashe, a converted third baseman playing in the outfield, did not have a great jump on it. Even at that, he almost made a nice play. But nevertheless, good at bat. Giants get a runner in scoring position to start it off here.
Brandon Crawford, second on the team in RBIs. He's knocked in 50. Giants down by a run. .255 batting average. Changeup misses off the outside. Ball 1. 12 homers, 50 batted in, and a .326 on base average. That ball is hit well toward the gap. Herrera will have to chase it. Belt will score it easily. The tying run, and Brandon Crawford keeps going. The relay, a triple.
Well, another mistake up, a little two-seam fastball. We talk about where Buchanan has been location-wise consistently. It's been around the belt, and that's when you get hurt. And for Brandon Crawford, who's an outstanding high ball hitter, he really torches one. And Herrera badly misjudges this. He took a real short route. Had he taken a deeper route, he might have been able to catch up to it. But the short route killed him. And another triple for Brandon Crawford.
Crawford hit 10 triples last year for the Giants. That's his 4th triple this year. Middle infield lays back for Gregor Blanco. And the curveball down and in.
Now Pete Buchanan, the skipper for the Phillies, trying to stay out of the big inning. I mean, they're giving up a run here basically. Any kind of a medium ground ball up the middle of and they'll score that run. You have to avoid the strikeout as a hitter.
2-0.
Phillies play their corners in, so it's got to be a ground ball up the middle that gets past the pitcher. Ground ball in the corner, so you're not going to score. Not with no out. You're not going to break. With 1 out, you might break, but not with no outs. Normally.
3-0. You've got the pitcher. Vogelsong up next. Nobody out in the inning. Gregor Blanco has been hot lately. 307 average for the year, 376 on base. And now it's 3-1.
Take it all the way. Buchanan, I mean, he's going to mix his pitches up even when he's behind the count. We saw it do that several times already in this game with changeups and 2-0 counts, 1-0 counts.
And a pop-up, so that will not get it done on a 3-1 pitch. Galvis takes it, and Crawford has to hold at third.
Oh, that's a rough at bat. Well, a reminder that NBC Bay Area Investigative Unit, it's the largest on-air team of investigative journalists dedicated to holding the powerful accountable. You can watch award-winning stories that have helped make the Bay Area a better place. And that is at NBCBayArea.com/investigations.
So now with the pitcher batting, the Phillies bring the infield in all the way. Try to cut off that run if they can. Vogelsong at the plate. And it's 0-1.
Well, and for Vogelsong, you know, if they're not going to put a squeeze on, and he is a candidate, he's not a bad bunter, you have to think the same thing that a regular hitter would think. It's a fly ball situation, so you're looking for something up. Put the ball in play.
Strike 2 call. Change up, 82 miles an hour on the inside.
Pure strikeout situation for Buchanan. I mean, that's what he's pitching for. You got a pitcher up there, you're going to try and strike him out.
Pagan is on deck. Got a piece of that one. Into the crowd, still 0-2. The 50 millionth paid admission entered the ballpark tonight in the still young history of this ballpark. 16th season of Giants baseball here. And that is the strikeout. He was pitching for it, and he got it.
Both strikeouts tonight for Buchanan have come on curveballs. 3-2 curveball that struck out Pitts in the first, and here a good curveball. And, you know, he's been saving it for 2 strike counts. They've been little surprises, and the Giants haven't been able to do much with it.
Two down, and here is Pagan. Pagan grounded out to first his first time. Ball 1 too high. Pagan has done his best hitting this year as a right-handed hitter. And I know you were pointing out last night that his last hit of the 3-hit game that he had was as a left-handed hitter, and he really scalded one. This one right to the second baseman. Blanco, plenty of time, and that is the inning. So they had a runner at third with nobody out, could not get him home. Dealt double to start the inning, and then Crawford tripled him home to tie the game. But the Giants could not untie him. On to the third inning, 1-1. Right choice for California. Last night, Justin Maxwell, he was 4 for 4, a triple, 2 doubles, couple of runs batted in. The second time in his career he's had a 4-hit game. The last time was 3 years ago when he was with the Astros. Quite a night for Maxwell. And had he, in his last at bat, hit a homer instead of that double down the left field line, he would have hit for the cycle. David Buchanan facing Vogelsong. Pitcher versus pitcher here. And it's 2-0. Bogey falls behind him. Right in there for a strike. 2-1 now. Tomorrow day game here at AT&T Park. And Chris Heston will make his final start before the All-Star break up against Chad Billingsley, former Dodger, now a Philly. He's had a long battle with arm trouble, and Billingsley just recently getting back. So there's Heston, who goes tomorrow. He just needs to get better and better. He had one spell of a handful of starts where he struggled big time, as he talks with Jake Peavy.
Well, that's where you get your education, right there.
3-2.
You're a rookie. You're talking to a guy who's won a Cy Young, who's been in the game for over a decade at the big league level, who has a similar style. He's a sinker guy. And you sit there and listen.
And that's a walk. Vogelsong has walked the opposing pitcher to start the inning.
That's a mistake. Well, watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.tv Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Go to MLB.tv for details.
So here is Odubel Herrera, the leadoff man, who struck out looking his first time. Second walk allowed by Vogelsong. The first walk came with 1 out in the first inning, and that led to the first Phillies run. It is 1-1 here in the third. And a swing and a miss. And on appeal, yes. Third base umpire Tim Timmons said, yep, that was a swing. 0-1 the count. Plate umpire Todd Tichenor was not sure. Or felt that it wasn't a swing. He did not rule it a swing. 0-1 the count to Herrera. Into the crowd off the left field side. 0-2 the count. The All-Star game will be Tuesday night in Cincinnati. Bruce Bochy will be the National League All-Star manager. The Giants have 4 players who will be on the National League squad. Today we were sad to learn that Dee Gordon, who was voted in as the starting second baseman for the National League All-Star team, injured himself, and he will not be able to play in the All-Star game. There's a foul off to the left. Still 0-2 to Herrera. Apparently making a head-first dive, and he injured his thumb. So Bruce Bochy had to make a change to replace Dee Gordon on the All-Star team, and he selected Troy Tulowitzki of the Colorado Rockies. Been a star player, many times an All-Star. Blanco, 1 away. Buchanan will go back to first. Odubel Herrera is 0 for 2, and here comes Andres Blanco. Bruce Bochy said that because of that injury to Dee Gordon, one less second baseman, that he was able to tell Brandon Crawford and Joe Panik that when they get into the All-Star game, they should be able to play together.
How cool is that?
So very cool. The Giants double play combination will be the National League All-Star team double play combination at some point during the All-Star game Tuesday. That's a strike to Blanco, who tried to check his swing. The count is 0-1.
Perfect pitch. So because the players, when they voted for their All-Stars, they voted DJ LeMahieu as their selection. He becomes the starter now with D. Gordon injured, and that's why Panic couldn't start.
That's automatic. It's not up to the manager. Buster knocks that one down, and holding it first is Buchanan.
Well, they really changed a lot of the rules for the All-Star game this year. And they're taking less stress, or they're taking more stress off of the managers. I mean, that's not an easy job to pick players. And there are more players being picked by other players, by fans. And I think it's better for managers.
Strike two called. You got the low strike there against Blanco. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. 1 out, 1 at first.
Talk about the low strike zone of Titchener. This is an example of it. Right there at the knees or a bit below. From the pitcher's perspective, you love getting that pitch.
And then he strikes him out. Second strikeout for Vogelsong. 2 down, and Michael Franco will come up. Franco hit a single his first time.
Well, you don't really have to throw this guy strikes. Look at the stat sheet. This guy does not take a lot of walks. Very aggressive, especially with men on base.
This is only his 54th big league game this year. And so that's a third of a season since he came up in the minor leagues. In the equivalent of a third of a season, Franco has 10 homers and 35 RBIs, which if he played every day for a full season, that computes out to, or projects out to, 30 homers and 105 RBIs. So it just gives you a little idea of how productive he has been since being called up. That's over the outside. He's been the Phillies' best hitter.
He's a good player, and they're really asking him to learn the game at the big league level. But you can see, I mean, he's definitely at strength level. He's physically, he's ready to go. But the mental aspect of this game, he's being asked to learn on hand, going out there between the lines every day.
1-1 the count, and a curve in the dirt.
And that is the best way to get your education. But up here, when you make a mistake, it gets magnified because of all the media exposure. You make an error or a mental mistake down in the minor leagues, it has a tendency to get forgotten. Maybe not by you, the player, but by the general public. Up here, those mistakes linger a little bit longer. They can brand you.
That one cut a little bit off the outside. So it's 3-1 with Ryan Howard on deck. Franco is only 22 years old. You're talking about learning at the big league level. He's from the Dominican Republic. This is his 6th year in professional baseball. And a foul ball past the third base coach, John Miserock. 3-2 the count.
Ben Peckner, our ball dude at third base tonight. Left-hander, gobbled it up, made a friend.
So Belt has vacated the bag at first with the pitcher, Buchanan the runner, with 2 down and a 3-ball, 2-strike count. There goes Buchanan. And he got a piece of it to stay alive. Foul ball out of play.
Little cutter on the outside corner with movement just sort of shaved the outside corner. That's what you have to do with Franco. I mean, you just cannot lay something out over the middle. And he's got legitimate power.
So Vogie has been a busy man in this inning. This will be his 21st pitch of the inning. It started with a walk to the opposing pitcher. There goes Buchanan. Duffy. And the inning is over. Made a very nice pitch to Franco to end the inning. Panic, Duffy, and Buster Posey coming up.
feels special, and tonight they singled out this lady, Grace Witt of Cupertino. Why? She is the 50 millionth fan to walk through the gates of AT&T Park. She got to meet Kruk, and Kaibu showered her with gifts. The Giants have set a new Major League Baseball attendance record, taking the fewest seasons to reach 50 million fans. As you saw, she received a jersey with the number 50 on the back. Grace Witt of Cupertino. You rock, John and Mike.
All right, congratulations, Grace. Those are some happy people. Out left center field and caught by Cody Ashe.
Well, I think Grace, she gave them the reaction they were hoping to get. She really had fun with it, as did the entire group. I mean, they really lit up and just had fun.
Did that person with Grace just have the 50 millionth garlic fry?
I think she did.
You guys better get back down there.
All right, get the balloons.
1,261 games to get to 50 million fans. Camden Yards in Baltimore had been the fastest to 50 million previously. 1 ball and no strikes to Matt Duffy. And Camden Yards, I was there when that ballpark opened. A larger seating capacity than this one. Camden Yards had more than 48,000 seats. And they had a long stretch of being sold out every game in the early years of that ballpark. Giants are in the midst of one of those stretches themselves right now. Right field line and foul. A UCLA Bruin and Yankee fan caught that ball. Brought his glove.
Absolutely spectacular night here in the Bay.
Two and one to Matt Duffy, who hit a single off the wrist of Buchanan, and this one is going to be extra bases. Ashe digs it out. Duffy at second. A stand-up double.
Really is amazing what a day off will do to a team. And Matt Duffy, I mean, you can really see just how everything tightens up. I mean, he gets the foot down earlier. I mean, he sees things better. I mean, it's just, you take fatigue out of your game, and all of a sudden you get back to the stroke that allowed you to hit around 300 all year long.
Buster Posey now, runner in scoring position, 1 out. Duffy has 6 hits in this series in 2 games.
Watch the front foot get down, and then the very small circle with his hands. He's got real quiet hand action, and then when that elbow tucks into the side, the front, the right shoulder and the right hip throw at the same time. It's just a beautiful swing.
Buster hit a fly ball to right his first time, and there's the bluff towards second by Buchanan. Second baseman Andres Blanco playing very close to second. And it's 0-2.
Good hard sinker down and in.
Hunter Pence on deck. Buster looks like he goes into a deeper crouch now. And hits a high fly ball. Dominic Brown runs out of room.
Look at it. Sounded like he hit that right off the end of the bat. But not for lack of effort from Dominic Brown. Once it gets on the fans' side of the fence there, I mean, you could definitely go in there and try and make a play if you're a fan. That is not interference. If you lean out as a fan onto to the playing side of that fence, that's a different story.
0-2 to Buster. 1-1 the score. And off his foot. Buster Posey will be the starting catcher for the National League All-Stars Tuesday night as we have a look at that one. Well, he's got some armor there.
Well, I think it may have caught a bit of it, or maybe it was right between the two pieces. I don't know. Those things never work.
He needs more. Galvis, who's a very strong defensive player. Buster is out. Duffy does move to third. 2 down.
When you get an offense rolling, there's that feeling on the bench that you don't know when it's going to click. You just know that it is going to click, and you know that you're going to put up a crooked number. And that's the feeling that they've been looking for. Now, last night did not hurt that confidence as this team's looking for the confidence. But that's what they're trying to find.
Left center field, and Herrera gets there. Duffy is stranded at second. It's still 1-1 as we go to the fourth. Grace Witt, the 50 millionth fan to go through the gates here at AT&T Park earlier this evening.
So he did it with a bat first time in his career. He had 4 hits. He went 4 for 6, 4 singles, couple of RBIs, and he also did it with the glove. 4 knocks, and he also did it with the glove. Defensively, taking away a bunt. That was early in the game, first inning, and then the 5th inning, speared one off of the bat of Cesar Hernandez. And that's our Rams gutsy play. Ram 1500, Green Journal's 2015 Green Truck of the Year. Guts, glory, Ram. Visit ramtrucks.com to learn more.
Here's Ryan Howard to lead off for the Phillies in the 4th inning. Matt Duffy, after going 4 for 6 last night with 4 singles, is 2 for 2 with a single and a double so far tonight. Ryan Howard knocked in the Phillies run with a single to right in the 1st inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carlos Ruiz and Cody Ashe will follow for the Phillies here in the 4th. They're in the top of the 3rd in LA. The Brewers and the Dodgers 0-0. Brandon Beachy off the disabled list. His first major league start in a couple of years. Going for LA. No swing, no strike.
How about on the location?
Changeup in there for a called strike.
It's the curveball that he threw on the 1-1 count. I thought that was a pretty good pitch.
He's called pitches down there, strikes earlier in the game. And that is strike 3.
Came right back with another curveball. He's got a good one going. Almost the same pitch that he threw in the 1-1 count. And had Howard way out front.
Brandon Crawford, plenty of time, and Ruiz is out. He is 0 for 2. 2 down, nobody on here in the 4th. Giants baseball is brought to you in part by Toyota. The summer's biggest blockbuster isn't in the theaters. It's Toyota's summer blockbuster sales event. Get blockbuster deals on every Toyota in stock now. Get a sneak preview at buyatoyota.com. There's lovely Martha.
The lovely Martha Jane. We know her. She lives in Montero.
You think that's named for her, that boat?
Well, she's the only lovely Martha that I know.
So it must be. To our knowledge.
There's the prom queen. You can always tell.
Cody Ashe, fairly shallow right center. And Pence. That's another 8-pitch inning for Vogelsong. Last of the 4th, Brandon Belt coming up. Giants' only run leads off against David Buchanan here in the 4th. Ball 1. Giants are in a 1-1 tie, but the part that may have you a little bit uneasy is the number of chances that they have had to score more than just the 1 run. Did he swing? Yes. Third base umpire Tim Timmons on the appeal.
But they're setting it up, and that's when they went into this funk here the last week and a half. I mean, they weren't doing that. They weren't giving themselves a lot of chances. A lot of nights it was 1 chance.
Blanco and Belt is now 1 for 2. Now let's take a look at who's hot, brought to you by Papa Murphy's. Fresh made, fresh baked. Love at 425 degrees. Most hit by the Giants in the history of this ballpark, 22. And you could look it up in a 9-inning game. That's the most hits for the Giants in any of their San Francisco homes. Seal Stadium, Candlestick Park, and of course here at AT&T Park. They had a 20-hit game against the Marlins in the 2nd year of baseball here back in August of 2001. 22 hits last night in a 15-2 win. Brandon Crawford drops the bunt. Franco, barehanded pickup, and a wild throw. Crawford overrunning the bag will stay at first. Blanco did a good job of backing up.
Well, he really did. I think that's one of the things we're going to have to talk about for all the young players who are watching. If you're a second baseman or you play the second base position, Franco, a young fielder, I probably shouldn't have made the throw. I mean, it was very off balance, but look at Franco coming over, backing up the play. If he's not there, it's an easy take a second, maybe even more. If you're not involved with the play, with the ball being hit to you, there's always something for you to do. In this case, a second baseman, you get over behind first base, back it up. That's a good heads-up play.
Crawford might have gone to second, maybe even third, had Blanco not been over there backing up. And here's the Giants' Blanco. Gregor taking a strike.
It's a good look at Blanco, very top of your screen to the right. Just getting in position. You never know. If you do it 99 times, nothing happens, but the one time it gets by that first baseman, you're there, and it looks good.
Gregor Blanco popped up to short his first time. One out, runner at first. Giants won, Phillies won. We're in the last of the fourth inning. Ryan Vogelsong, the pitcher, is on deck. Crawford has 4 steals this year in 6 tries, so they're keeping an eye on him. Giants have 6 hits in the first 4 innings against Buchanan so far. And the curveball, 2-1. Milwaukee Brewers put 3 runs on the board in the 3rd inning at Dodger Stadium for a 3-0 lead after 2.5 innings. Carlos Gomez hit a bases loaded double for the Brewers.
I like that guy.
That one is scalded to left field, a base hit. Crawford to second base. If you count games that are longer than 9 innings, the most hits for the Giants in a home game here in San Francisco was in a 15-inning game against the Padres in May of 1970. They lost that game 17-16. What a game it was. And after the game, the Giants manager was fired. Clyde King was the manager. He was fired and was replaced by Charlie Fox. Vogelsong showing the bunt. Curveball for a strike, to throw down to second. And Crawford scurries back with a head first dive.
Carlos Ruiz, he doesn't have the strongest arm, but he's very quick to get rid of the ball, and he's not afraid to throw. He senses that you're getting too big of a lead, he will try and pick you off.
He bunted at it. Strike 2.
Well, the way that Pagan swung the bat last night, he's starting to come out of his little funk. You know the Bochy wants him to hit this inning, so I would believe that he'll have Vogelsong try and bunt again, for fear that if he swings, he might hit into a double play.
And Buchanan, who he attacked like that. He attacked that ball as if it were a fumble.
Well, it's like he went down on a knee and his knee stuck in the infield. Either replace the turf or returf the plays.
Crawford to third, Blanco to second on the bunt.
A pop up, and I think off the crack of the bat, Buchanan's thinking he can catch this thing, and then he goes into a knee slide and just sticks. Watch Vogelsong's eyes. Oops. That's a good divot right there.
And it looks to me like they did replace their divot.
Yes, they did.
To the best of their ability.
That's good etiquette right there. There is a golfer amongst the group.
Yeah, there.
Kind of
close enough.
Working, yeah, we're good. Wow.
Here's Angel Pagan. He's 0 for 2. Bloop. Herrera, late break, but he gets there. And another opportunity gone by for the Giants. They've stranded 6 in 4 innings. It's 1-1 on to the 5th.
California and into Nevada and Oregon participate in the Junior Giants program. And did you know that 80% of these kids would not play baseball if not for this program? And we are grateful for your support at the Stretch Drive at any level. $440 donors will receive a baseball autographed by Willie McCovey and Madison Bumgarner, which we will show you. We have one in our hand. This is if you are a $440 donor. There's Bumgarner. There's the great Willie McCovey. And then $1,500 donors will receive a Madison Bumgarner autographed bat. You can go to jrgiants.org to learn more.
Dominic Brown hitting a fair ball that is handled by Brandon Belt. One away. Brown is 0 for 2. Leading off here in the 5th inning against Vogelsong.
Never forget when the Junior Giants program started, we were all excited when they hit 2,500 kids that were socioeconomically depressed. They couldn't afford baseball equipment. They didn't have access to fields. And the program started small, and now there's 22,000 kids because of the donations that Giants fans have given the Junior Giants program over the years. So the program is working, and we thank you for your support.
Galvis, the 8th base hitter, popped up to short his first time. Ball 1. You mentioned, Mike, the $1,500 donor would receive a bat autographed by Madison Bumgarner. $4,400 you would receive a jersey autographed by Willie McCovey or Madison Bumgarner. And that is in for a called strike, 1-1. And for $10,000, you would get all of the other items: the Madison Bumgarner bobblehead, the baseball autographed by McCovey and Bumgarner, the bat autographed by Bumgarner, the jersey autographed by either McCovey or Bumgarner, and a Willie McCovey meet and greet on top of all of that.
And Dwayne Kuiper will rub your feet.
All right, I'm in. 10,000.
I'm telling you, I'm writing the check right now.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Take a look at the fastball, just shaving the outside corner. But it is a program that we're all very passionate about. And what I like about it is that the monies that are donated to the Junior Giants program, there's no red tape. It goes right to the kids. Glove drive, the equipment, the fields are maintained, they're built. That's pretty spectacular.
Pagan going back deep into center field. No. Galvis is going to keep on going, trying for third, and he'll make it with a triple.
Well, we've really seen big time carry this whole homestand to center and left center, and it really affects his fly ball here. I mean, Galvis, he backspins it, so he helps himself out. But Pagan, who'd been playing in a shallow set, you're just not expecting Galvis to hit balls over your head. And here he takes on the deep part of the yard in center and does it. It's pretty impressive at bat. Just over the outstretched arm of Pagan.
Well, it was a ball very similar to that Pagan made, at least for a moment, made an amazing catch on the previous homestand. It was in the afternoon. He was wearing sunglasses. Showing bunt is Buchanan. Did he bunt at it? No. Says first base umpire Gabe Morales.
Well, you've got good speed at third base, and that was a safety squeeze. When you have speed at third base like the Phillies do, and you have a good bunter up there like Buchanan, handles the bat well.
He walked his first time. Galvis came well down the line as the pitch was coming in. Down and away. Posey came up ready to throw to third. Galvis had to scurry back. It's 2-0.
Well, I mean, the one thing you cannot do if you're Vogelsong is you cannot walk the pitcher again in the situation. I mean, yes, it's in a strikeout situation, and you're trying to prevent that run from scoring, but you have to stay away from the crooked number here. And walking the pitcher and setting up a one-out first and third, that's not good.
Odubel Herrera, left-handed hitter, the leadoff man, is on deck. Swings away after showing bunt. Belt. No. Into the dugout. And then into the crowd. 2-1. That's almost always the manager telling you that he's got a pitcher who can handle the bat. When you see a guy squared around and then he brings the bat back and swings. He's had one hit in 6 official at bats in the big league so far this year. 1-1 the score. 5th inning. Runner at third. 1 out. Infield is in. 2-2.
Good curveball. Straight down break right over the middle of the plate.
Remember, Vogelsong started behind him 2-0. This is the 2-2 pitch, and he struck him out. Buster freezes the runner at third and then hurries that throw over to first. Well, he had to be mindful of the speedy Galvis over at third base. 2 down.
Yeah, that was an outstanding job by Vogelsong, especially once he got down the count 2-0 to come back and get that strikeout. I watched Buster Posey. That ball goes down the dirt. He comes out, and first thing he does is he freezes that runner at third. Once Galvis is frozen, I mean, he's not going to make a break. His momentum's going back to the bag, and that's all you have to do as a catcher. Make him hold. Easy dig out of the dirt for Belt.
2 down. The infield can back up. Normal depth. Odubel Herrera, the leadoff man, who has been caught out on strikes and is flied out to left. 1-1 with the curve. Brewers, meanwhile, on the out-of-town scoreboard with a 3-0 lead over L.A. That game has gone to the 4th inning now. Youngman is pitching for Milwaukee, whom we have never seen. Brandon Beachy, the former Atlanta Brave, going for L.A. for the first time. Foul tip that one. That hit Buster Posey. So they'll give him a few moments to try and shake it off.
They may have caught a piece of his throwing hand or his just above The glove caught some meat. Yeah, right on the wrist of his glove hand. Stinger. So you get to shake it off and catch a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. I mean, that's the reward for shaking it off. And oh, by the way, he will hit third next inning. Such is the life of a catcher.
No balls, 2 strikes to Herrera. Galvis, who hit a 1-out triple, is still at third, 2 down. And Herrera, who's a very aggressive hitter, only a 293 on base average. And he went upstairs after that one. Struck him out. The high hard one. That's 5 strikeouts. And he strands that runner at third. Panic, Duffy, Posey coming up.
Bruce Bochy was talking about him before the game today, saying Matt Duffy is an absolute joy to put in the lineup. He said that he is a ball player. He can put him in there every day, and he can do everything. He's an absolute pleasure. He also talked about, gentlemen, how impressed he's been with the progress Duffy has made at third base, specifically referring to that first step quickness he's been able to work on and improve upon since he was put at third base. John and Mike?
Right, Amy, and certainly Matt Duffy, and he's not going to the All-Star game, but he's played like a guy who will have some All-Star games in his future. 1 ball, 1 strike to Joe Panic, who will be going to the All-Star game. And these are a couple of guys, they came up the same time last year. Duffy actually came up from Double-A ball, with Panic coming up from Triple-A. As Panic is out, he's now 1 for 3.
Last night, Duffy in the first inning, Carlos Herrera, I mean, he was kind of picking on him. And then again, he gets him in the 5th inning. And took a couple base hits away. So Carlos Hernandez not happy about the 2 efforts. That's your job. Tick off a couple of hitters.
And third base is all about quickness. The ball gets there so much more quickly than when you're at shortstop or second base.
It took him a while to get used to the speed of the position because balls are coming towards him at an alarming pace. But he's handled it. I mean, he looks very comfortable there now. There has to come a point in time when you change positions that you start to feel of yourself that you are a third baseman. Regardless of whether you were a shortstop or a second baseman, you think of yourself as a third baseman, and it has happened with Matt Duffy.
Facing David Buchanan. It's off the inside. 2-1. Giants have had 7 hits against Buchanan, including 2 doubles and a triple, but they have scored only 1 run. Deep right center. Dominic Brown squares up. 2 down. For comprehensive coverage of everything orange and black, check out pregame live and postgame live before and after every Giants telecast on Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports. Tonight coming to you on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network. Back on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area tomorrow afternoon. The 1:05 start. Chris Heston up against Chad Billingsley. The finale before the break, which now has turned into a 4-day break. It started out because it had always been a 3-day break. But there were some teams that got a 4-day break on occasion. Buster up the middle. This long throw. Buster not running well and under orders from Bruce Bochy not to do anything that might damage that hamstring that's been giving him some trouble. And he gets the base hit anyway.
I mean, this is the toughest thing to ask a player, not to go hard when he's sniffing out an infield hit. I mean, he knows the deal. He missed 2 games earlier in the week because he had some tightness in his hamstring. Basically got 3 days off in a row going into the Thursday off day. But here, I mean, he's digging hard. It's a 1-1 ball game. I mean, he wants to put himself on base. And I guarantee Bruce Bochy and Dave Gresham, the Giants head trainer, were cringing on that effort.
Here's Hunter Pence, who has struck out and flied out. The curveball for a called strike. We got a Hunter Pence sighting behind the backstop. It became quite the rage all around the baseball landscape. Last summer. It started in New York, where they were. Let's see, Hunter Pence never fills up on bread.
Well, I believe that's true.
Well, we don't ever do that either, do we? In a restaurant?
Only on the first course.
1 ball, 2 strikes. But what I loved was because these young fans in New York were getting on his case, but it was a very clever and creative way to do it. They were getting on his case saying that he ate that he put ketchup on his hot dogs. You know, what an insult.
Yeah, unbelievable they would think that.
That is up and over the backstop. That's a wild pitch home run. Posey over to second.
Hunter Pence eats pizza with a fork. We saw him everywhere we went. They were hysterical.
And we got to Kansas City. He went out to right field. They held up a sign. Hunter Pence thinks Kansas City's in Kansas. And Hunter yelled at him. He says, "It's not." So he had a lot of fun with it. Off the outside. But when we got home, Giants fans had their own Hunter Pence signs. And the one I'll never forget said Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence was not in the title. It said Superman wears Hunter Pence pajamas. And that ends the inning. So another runner left in scoring position for the Giants. They are 1 for 10 in those kind of at bats. On to the 6th.
with a great deal on a Honda now at your Honda dealer. We go back to 2010 NLCS Game 6 against these Phillies, and the Giants bullpen was fantastic. Jeremy Affeldt, 2 innings. Madison Bumgarner, 2 innings. Javier Lopez, an inning. Lincecum, a third of an inning. Wilson, an inning and 2/3. All zeros. Great relief. They didn't give up anything. Javier Lopez got the win. Wilson the save, and the Giants would go to the World Series. That's your Honda save.
What a series that was. What a game that was. Ball dribbled foul off the bat of Andres Blanco. Second place hitter leading it off for the Phils here in the 6th inning. Much different time for the Phillies now than it was then. Phillies had been in a run where they were at the top of the National League. They had won the World Series 2008, got to the World Series, beaten by the Yankees in 2009. Joe Paddock throws out Blanco. Blanco is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. The only run for the Phillies. It's 1-1 here in the 6th, and now Vogelsong will face the 3rd place hitter Michael Franco, who has singled and grounded out. But I think the Phillies back in 2010, don't forget, they were the odds-on favorites to head to the World Series again, to beat the Giants.
Yeah, they were coming off of that series with Cincinnati. Roy Halladay had thrown a no-hitter. I mean, they were loaded.
And it's 0-1 to Franco.
In fact, I think they did sweep Cincinnati in that NLDS.
Well, he did not get the low strike there. So right now, potential of that low strike is a sometime thing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Franco with Ryan Howard, the cleanup hitter, on deck, who's knocked in the only Phillies run. 2-1. The Philadelphia Ball Club. First off, they lost Roy Halladay. He started having arm problems. Finally ended up retiring. 3-1 now. Cliff Lee, he's on the disabled list as we speak. Still have Cole Hamels. The Phillies had injury, or in some cases just guys getting old, like Chase Utley. Injuries have taken a severe toll on Chase Utley. He's on the disabled list right now. 3-2 now to Franco.
It looked like Franco was going to swing no matter where that pitch was. Well, the Phillies had a great run. I mean, they did with this group. I mean, they have nothing to be ashamed about. They were fantastic. They filled that stadium up with great baseball for a long time. But now, I heard Andy McPhail say it the other day. Baseball system is, if you have success, you're handicapped.
Deep left center. Pagan gets there. Two down.
Giants Baseball is brought to you in part by McDonald's. You can get great deals at McDonald's with the McD app. Download the McD app on your smartphone and get great deals at participating Greater Bay Area McDonald's. Visit McDapp.com. If you're going to the playoffs every year, you're not getting the highest draft picks. You have to pay basically for the success your team has had. And it's going to cost you in contracts. It's inevitable.
Giants have the overshift on for Ryan Howard, who singled home the Phillies' run in the 1st inning, struck out in the 4th.
And sometimes the length of big contracts are going to exceed the talent level of a player. And it happens. It's nature. But you pay for the success that you've had, and they're paying for it now. So you rebuild.
And that's where the Phillies are now, sort of still in the early stages of trying to affect the rebuilding. That ball deep into right center, and it's gone. And we haven't seen any signals from anybody that I think finally we did see a signal. It is a home run. For a long time, none of the umpires were signaling home run. So Ryan Howard with his 15th home run of the year, and twice now he's been the RBI man against Vogelsong. The Giants are going to ask Sean Dunston and Chad Chopp in the video room if that was a home run or not.
And watch the reaction of Hunter Pinson. He knew it was going to be close. Yes, it did. It hit the green right there on top of the right field fence, it looks like. And when it hits that 10 piece, it's a home run. I believe that's what it hit.
Well, the umpires are gathered together. It did look to me like it hit that sort of the green aluminum rooftop. And they, as it is a boundary call, will go check with the umpiring command central in New York.
All right, this should give you a look right here. Oh, that is right there on the rim.
And even that is a home run, as we saw Benji Molina here a few years back hit one that hit right in the front, but it hit the green, and that was a home run. That was the one when they had just started that replay on boundary calls, and Emmanuel Burris, who was on the club, ran over to first base to run for Molina, and the Giants said, wait a minute, that hit that green tin roof. And the replay review came back and said, yes, it did, almost exactly like that one.
That little lip that comes over.
And then they wouldn't let Benji Molina finish his home run trot because they said Burris had been entered into the game already. Well, the umpires are taking the headphones off, and it is a home run. But again, it's any part of that green roof out there, even the front edge of it.
Yeah, the little lip that hangs over there, touches that, gone.
And that's a pretty good shot. That would be a long home run in Philly.
Second decker in Philly.
So 2-1, the Phillies are back ahead. And Carlos Ruiz takes a called strike. He's hit into a double play and has grounded out to short.
Close. You know, it would have been a double decker in Philly, but I still don't think that Ryan Howard got it all. This gives you an idea how strong he is.
Well, and you're talking about how well the ball has been carrying. That not that many guys go that deep, especially when they don't get it all to that part of this yard.
And there's been carry really on this whole road trip, or whole homestand, I beg your pardon. Vogelsong knows that Carlos Ruiz has been hot. Hit a home run against Madison Bumgarner last night. That's credibility.
And it's a walk.
So he nibbled. Just to get it in, slider off the arm of Madison Bumgarner. And Ruiz says, thank you very much. Second home run of the year, and I think it surprised the big fella when it went over the wall. Dave Righetti coming out, going to talk a little bit just to kill some time. And it looks like Josh Osich, the Giants' young left-hander, getting ready in their bullpen. There's Osich.
So Righetti out there along with Buster Posey and Vogelsong. Vogelsong has thrown 88 pitches so far in 6 innings. This is still in the 6th inning. Cody Ashe has flied out to left center and to shallow right. And that is a called strike on the outside. Ashe, a left-handed hitter, and then Dominic Brown, another lefty, is on deck. 2 runs on only 4 hits for the Phillies. 1 run, 8 hits for the Giants. The Giants have had only 1 hit in 10 at-bats in the first 5 innings, with runners in scoring position. Ryan Howard has been the RBI man for the Phillies in each case. An RBI single in the first and the home run here. 2-1.
Trying to keep that ball away from Ashe.
Back over the screen into the crowd. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Away, away, away. 4 pitches, 4 fastballs, all in the outside corner. Giants have set their defense in left field. See Gregor Blanco really playing him like he's kind of a pull right-handed hitter. That's a pitch him away, play him away defense.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count with 2 down. Ruiz at first, now time taken. Brandon Belt is playing right next to the bag with the runner at first. There goes the runner, and it's a foul.
So finally on the 5th pitch he throws him a breaking ball, and that was a good location for it. Right down there below the strike zone.
Chooch goes back to first.
He's not a guy who's going to steal any bases. He has attempted to steal a base this year, but you have to make him stop. If you forget all about him, he'll roll into a lead, and he can steal a base if you totally ignore him.
Full count. Vogelsong will be due up 4th in the last half of this inning. So giving him a chance to finish the inning. They really like him to finish the inning one way or the other.
Well, I think this is his last guy no matter what.
There goes the runner. That is hit deep to right field, and that ball is headed and into the San Francisco Bay. Now that is a backbreaker, and suddenly it is 4-1.
2 strikes, 2 out. And backbreaker is a perfect description.
5th home run for Cody Ashe in his 234th at bat.
And a look from our splash cam. The flight of the ball. This is the kind of power that Ashe has shown that the Phillies got so excited with early in his career, and he just hasn't been consistent enough to show it. But here, a backbreaker.
The Phillies have hit 2 homers in the inning. 4-1, and we'll be back. PG&E. Together, we're building a better California. John Miller, Mike Krukow with you from AT&T Park, and the Phillies with a little blast from the past as they hit a couple of home runs. It wasn't so unusual for Phillies teams just in what, 3-4 years ago to do that all the time. A little more rare nowadays, but they have a 4-1 lead as Josh Osich, the rookie, comes in for the Giants bullpen to face Dominic Brown.
And he's been impressive. Osich throws hard. You're going to see a fastball that goes mid to high 90s. And he's got a cutter that'll go low 90s and a changeup. And he will throw any of those pitches at any time.
A ball and a strike. Brown has popped up to short and grounded out to first. Ryan Vogelsong threw 95 pitches. But somewhere in the last 10 of those pitches, he gave up a couple of home runs to Ryan Howard and Cody Ashe. 3 runs all told. 96-mile-an-hour fastball there.
Well, and he's not really showing him a lot of respect with location either. He's just coming right at him. 3 pitches, all at 96, all belt high or above.
Another piece of that one right back to the screen. 1-2. Well, the Giants, who have been in situations where they needed a ground ball or a fly ball or just a base hit to knock in a run, not able to do it. The Phillies hit a couple of home runs.
That's the cutter, and at 90 miles an hour. It's a pitch you don't normally see.
Jake Diekman, hard throwing lefty, up in the Phillies bullpen now. Giants will have 3 left-handed hitters in a row due up in the last of the 6th, and they might just make the move now that they're leading. Belt, Crawford, and Blanco due up in the last of the 6th. Blanco gets there. It's a 3-run inning for the Phillies. The Giants have some catching up to do. Belt, Crawford, and Blanco coming up. Thousands of synchronized sardines in the open sea exhibit. Share the amazing, share the love at MontereyBayAquarium.org/love. Well, the Phillies, as you see, the big crowd here, and right now it's a disappointed big crowd. The Giants are down 4-1. Giants who had one opportunity after the other in the first 5 innings against the starter David Buchanan, getting only the 1 run, and now Jake Diekman with the Phillies ahead 4-1. He pitched last night. Look at those strikeout totals in his 32 1/3 innings. Also a lot of walks. He blew that one right by Bell at 95.
Right by him. And you're going to see 95 and sometimes higher. He'll go high 90s with that fastball. You said he's got a good one, and indeed he does. Hard slider. It's a strikeout slider, and he'll throw a changeup.
Galvis just in time. Galvis, it took him a while to get rid of that ball, and Bell really hustled, made it close.
The other thing too about Diekman's delivery, he's got a little crossover step, and for a guy that throws that hard, that is not a comfortable at bat for a lefty.
Phillies have a right-hander going down to the bullpen now, Luis Garcia. Brandon Crawford has tripled home the Giants' run and then had a bunt single. Punches this one into left field, a base hit. He is 3 for 3. Hit number 9 for the Giants. And now Blanco. And there is Hunter Strickland. Start throwing in the Giants bullpen. Garcia up in the Phillies bullpen. And the Giants have Blanco coming to the plate with the pitcher's spot due up next, and Justin Maxwell has come out in the on deck circle for the Giants. Blanco has popped up to short and singled. Drag bunt. Right along the line. It won't go foul. Base hit. There was a magnetic attraction for that ball to that foul line, and it just would not go foul.
Well, and I think Gregor Blanco needs to give Greg Elliott, the Giants groundskeeper, a case of beer for this one. Look at that, how even that dirt is on the foul line. That does not allow that ball to just sort of roll away foul. I mean, it goes right on the line, then comes back into play, and actually winds up on the grass. So that's a big turn of events. You know, Giants get the tie and run up there.
Now, when is the last time you've seen that?
I can't. You got me.
So 2 men on, and now Justin Maxwell, the right-handed hitter, has been entered in officially, and the Phillies might be stalling for time. They've got the right-hander getting ready in their bullpen, Luis Garcia. Crawford punched one into left field for a single, and then Gregor Blanco with the beautiful drag bunt. Well, finally, here comes Pete McCannon, who has been named the manager for the rest of this season. And I don't know what was taking so long.
Well, maybe they're just figuring out the double switch. He did not give the double switch sign, though. But indeed, they are going to double switch. Dominic Brown's coming out.
So Garcia will come in, 2 men on, 1 man out. Also, Jeff Francoeur goes into right field, replacing Dominic Brown. We'll be right back. cloud-connected security and storage solutions designed to simplify IT. Reclaim your network with Barracuda. The Giants with a threat. 2 men on. They're trailing 4-1 as Justin Maxwell comes up. Maxwell, who had one of his best games as a big leaguer last night, the second time in his career with a 4-hit game. On to face Luis Garcia, and you see his numbers just beneath a hit per inning and just beneath a strikeout per inning.
Another hard thrower.
And that's ball one.
And that's his breaking ball right there. It's a hard slider, but the thing about his slider is it's got some tilt to it. It almost looks like a curveball, but he's throwing it in the mid-80s. It is indeed a slider, but it is a strikeout pitch for both righties and lefties. His fastball will go mid-90s consistently.
And there it is at 96 for a called strike. Jeff Francoeur came in to play right field, replacing Dominic Brown. Francoeur will slot into the 9th spot of the order and be up second in the 7th inning. And Garcia in the 7th spot where Brown had been, not due up again until 9th the next time through the order. 2 men on, 1 man out. And it's 1-2.
Perfectly placed right above the hands, inside corner.
Pagan, the switch hitter, is on deck. There's a real hard slider in the dirt outside. 2-2. In his career, Maxwell has had times where he was a very reliable pinch hitter and has had hit 5 career pinch hit homers in 73 pinch hit at bats. 2-2. And that is the strikeout. 87-mile-an-hour slider in the dirt.
I mean, that is really a nasty swing and miss type of little breaking ball. And when he had a little leverage there in a 2-2 count, he could throw it below the strike zone. And that's perfect. That type of break at that type of velocity is unique.
So now Pagan against the starting pitcher Buchanan. Grounded out twice and hit a fly ball to shallow center once. 0 for 3. Guys looking for a clutch hit. They've been in short supply in this game. Lots of base runners, lots of hits, but not with men on base. And that's a strike on the outside. Giants are now 1 for 11 in those at bats with a runner at second or third or both. Last night it was just the opposite. Giants had 6 consecutive hits with runners in scoring position in the 4th inning alone against Cole Hamels last night. One of them by Pagan. 0-2.
There is that slider in it. Testimony to it being the swing and miss pitch to both right-handers and left-handers. So now you've seen it, and you know what he's got. He's basically a 2-pitch guy, that fastball and that slider.
Crawford at second, Blanco at first. 2 down. And to the outside, taken by Pagan. One of his hits last night is Ruiz, the catcher, out to talk to Garcia. Pagan's 3rd hit on a big night was a long drive deep to left center field for a double as a left-handed hitter. It's been a while since we've seen him hit one with such authority as a left-handed hitter. Now, excellent take there by Pagan. 2-2.
Well, and they just have a little knowledge. I mean, the first one he ever saw was the first one he ever saw. Now you have a little base acknowledge, and you can lay off some of those pitches, see it earlier, know that it's not going to be a strike. He starts that thing just above the knees, it's not going to be the strike, and that's what you learn when you see it. That was a good take, not an easy one either.
Joe Panik on deck. Pagan asks for timeout. And now Ruiz is going to go out again.
And they want to talk about pitch and they want to talk about location. Ruiz knows that with an open third base and 2 outs, you have a place to put a guy. So you don't have to throw a strike here. You can stay below the zone. You can go above the hands with a fastball.
Two. That one is raked down the right field line. Base hit off the pillar. Francoeur's got to chase it. Crawford scores, and here comes Blanco. A 2-run double for Pagan. Quite an at-bat to make it a 1-run game.
Now that's the at-bat of the night. And really, you think back as to how the at-bat went. He laid off the 2-strike breaking ball down the dirt. And here, Garcia raises it up just a little bit. And with the knowledge of the breaking balls he saw prior to this one, he applied it and raked it down the right field line. A 2-strike, 2-out base hit, 2-run score. That is a tremendous at bat. And that's the type of at bat you get when a guy's starting to get hot.
So the big hit that they've been lacking all night long. Now, if Panik could get another, they could tie the game. Pagan in scoring position at second base. And it's ball 1 to Joe Panik, taking that sinker down and away at 96 miles an hour.
Got good arms in right field with Francoeur. He got good arm in left field with Ashe. Average arm in center with Herrera. But with 2 outs and Pagan's speed, you're probably going to see Roberto Kelly challenge.
And that sinking down and in. And it's 2-0. Panik hit a single to center his first time. Since then has hit a fly ball to left center and has grounded out to second. 1 for 3. 4-3 Phillies. Pagan at second. 2 down in the 6th. And a 2-0 pitch. Back to the screen.
He had a good pitch to hit and he was on it.
Both of those runs are charged to Jake Diekman. Gave up a single to left by Crawford and then the bunt single by Blanco, and both of those hits have turned into runs on Pagan's 2-down double to right. Three and 1. And by the way, we probably should add the 2-run double by Pagan. When that ball hopped up and hit the pillar between the 2 archways out there, it took an odd carom that caused Francoeur to chase. That ensured that Blanco would also score. Great save by Ruiz. So it's ball 4 to Panik, but that kept Pagan at second.
I don't think that Garcia wanted any part of him. He knew he had a right-hander on deck. But nevertheless, a nice at bat from Joe Panik, and Bob McClure, the pitching coach for the Phillies, is going to come out and talk it over with Garcia.
Bob McClure out of the College of San Mateo. He pitched at CSM for John Noche, the legendary former baseball coach there for many, many years, including when I matriculated at CSM. Scott Feldman with the Houston Astros right now is a current major leaguer who once pitched at the College of San Mateo. John Wetland, who was a great closer for a long time, also was a CSM alum. So Matt Duffy's coming up. McClure heads back to the dugout, 2 men on. And Duffy, who's had 6 hits in these 2 games with the Phillies, including a single and a double tonight.
Well, he's been watching how Garcia works. He hasn't thrown a lot of pitches in, and he's going to look away.
On 1.
And he may just go up there and think slider. With Garcia, you think 2 speeds. You think fastball speed, you think slider speed. There is no other speed to think about. He's a 2-pitch guy.
Pagan, the possible tying run at second. Panic over at first. 2 down. 97 miles an hour out of the strike zone. Buster Posey is on deck. Right center field and really crushed. That's going to go for a while. Pagan is in to score the tying run. Right behind him is Panic with the go-ahead run. It's a stand-up triple from Matt Duffy to the deepest part of the yard. 5-4 Giants.
Thinking the right side of the field. There's the outside pitch. It sort of came back to the middle, but still stayed inside it. And let Garcia supply the power. Over the head of Herrera into the corner. And with 2 outs, everybody's going to score. What an at-bat that is.
With 2 down and Duffy at third, here is Buster Posey, who's 1 for 3 in the game. And the slider at the knees for a called strike. 2-run double by Pagan. Made it 4-3. And then after the walk to Panic, a 2-run triple by Duffy. 5-4 Giants. A 4-run inning so far. Left that slider out over the plate. Buster looked a little disgusted. Yeah. Fouling it out of play.
I think he was looking for it. When you look for a breaking ball, the guy, you hope he gets it up. He got one up and he missed it. Got Duffy last night 4 for 6. Tonight 3 for 4.
7 hits and 10 at bats in these 2 games against the Phillies for Matt Duffy. One and 2. 5 runs, 12 hits for the Giants now. 12 hits in the first 6 innings of this game after getting a ballpark record 22 here at AT&T Park last night. 1-2 the count. 2-2. The Phillies going to get more action going in their bullpen. Pence, another right-handed hitter, is on deck, and then the string of lefties who started this inning would follow Pence, and Elvis Araujo, a left-hander, will start to throw in the Phillies bullpen. Buster is the 8th batter to come up in this inning for the Giants. 2-2.
Oh,
3-2.
What a great block that was. You've got good speed at third base with Matt Duffy, and he was leaning and anticipating the ball in the dirt, and that was not an easy one to block. You get a curveball or a breaking ball that bounces that far out in front of a catcher, you don't know how high it's going to come up. It's unpredictable. Good job.
The 0-2 count has become a 3-2 count. 2 down, runner at third. And out of play. Another slider from the right-hander Garcia.
Slider. Pagan with the big hit this inning. 2 strike, 2 out, magic.
Into right field. Duffy crosses the plate. A fastball in on the hands, and Buster found a hole. 6-4 Giants.
Now they kind of played him the pole, opened up a little bit of a hole on the right side. And they go with a fastball finally up the bat a little bit, still stays inside it. But because of the way they shifted the defense prior to the pitch, and you might even see a little bit of a lean. And with Blanco, the second baseman, he just can't recover. Seeing eye single.
The Giants, who just could not get that big hit with a runner in scoring position, now have had 3 of them here in short order in the 6th inning. 5 runs are in. Pence the hitter. And Buster to second base. And he makes it without a throw. Wild pitch.
And that's a big 90 feet.
Matt Duffy, his 2-run triple, and he has a single, a double, and a triple in this game. Chucking it over with Bam Bam Mullins, the hitting instructor.
It's who you look for when you have a 2-out knock like that to put your team ahead. You look for the hitting instructor because he's going to give you smiles and back slaps and lots of applause.
That's just the way we worked on it. I love you, kid.
My man.
To 2-0 the count. Pence has been caught out on strikes, flied out to left center, and struck out swinging in this game. He's had 7 RBIs in the previous 3 games, his first 3 games back from the disabled list. He's got a chance to knock in a run here. Posey at second with 2 down. Off the glove of Ruiz to the backstop, and now Posey's at third base.
I'll tell you right now, Carlos Ruiz is not having any fun catching Garcia. Garcia has no idea where it's going. And now you've got a runner at third. 2 wild pitches, 1 down in the dirt, 1 completely over your head. Just off the tip of the glove.
They will score that as a wild pitch. Again, second wild pitch of the inning. For Garcia. Runner at third, 3-0 to Hunter Pence. Belt on deck. He threw him a slider at 3-0.
Yeah, and he swung at it too. They know that 3-0 is go time for a guy with power like Hunter Pence. That was a very respectful slider, but it's the best pitch he's thrown this inning.
He has shown a lot of pitches in this inning. This will be his 30th pitch. It came in with 1 out in the inning. Hit well, but right to Francoeur. That got there in a hurry. The Giants bat around. 9 men come up, and 5 of them score. Pagan with a 2-run double. Then Duffy the 2-run triple to put them ahead. And then Posey singled Duffy home. 6-4 Giants.
most live sports. Christian Arroyo, Giants first-round pick a couple years ago. He's 20 years old, 6'1", 180-pounder. Last 12 games with San Jose, he is on fire. 21 for 47, hitting .447, 6 doubles, 2 home runs. This season overall, 42 games, hitting .333 with a .385 on-base percentage and a .500 slugging percentage.
For the Giants, Hunter Strickland comes in with the Giants ahead 6-4. Strickland to face Freddie Galvis, and then Jeff Francoeur now in the 9th spot in the order after a double switch, and Odubel Herrera, the leadoff man. And ball one. That pitch was called a strike pretty steadily in the first 3-4 innings. Galvis had a triple his last time and is 1 for 2 in the game. Meanwhile, the Brewers are opening it up down at Dodger Stadium in the 7th inning. Fastball for a strike at 96 miles an hour. Gerardo Parra hit a home run for Milwaukee to make it 4-0. And that's on the hand-operated out-of-town scoreboard. But now Carlos Gomez has hit a bloop 2-run double. And it is 6-0 down there.
Well, that's good news.
Carlos Gomez has had 5 RBIs in that game for Milwaukee.
Good split right there. That's the pitch of the future right there for Hunter Strickland. He's getting more and more confidence in that pitch. And the thing that was so good about that pitch was the same arm action as the fastball.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Still 1-2. By the way, on the MLB at Bat app, you can now get readings on how far balls were hit, how hard they were hit, things like that. Hunter Pence, who just made the final out of the inning on a line drive to the right fielder, according to the at Bat app, left the bat at 108 miles an hour. That ball's hit sharply, but Belt's got it and 1 away.
He said 108 miles per hour, and that was to right field from a right-handed hitter. That's not even his pull side. It gives you an idea how strong Hunter Pence is.
And when guys hit him over 105 miles an hour, they keep tabs on this right now. The latest numbers, if you hit one over 105 miles an hour, the average batting average on those kind of hard hit balls is about 800. So to hit one that hard and to the opposite field no less and not get a hit, that's some bad luck. That's sort of the reverse magic wand-do. Jeff Francoeur with a count of 0-1 up for the first time in the game. 6-4, the Giants ahead here in the 7th. They've had 13 hits. Mighty cut by Francoeur on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. 0-2. Yeah, hello.
What was that? Mother of God.
Whose idea was it to sit here?
Well, you have to be awake back there. I mean, it can light you up. We've seen it happen to scouts who've been behind that screen for 40 years do the same thing.
Blew it right by him at 98 miles an hour.
All right, watch the folks behind. Hoo-ah.
I think that was a mother of God.
Yeah. Well, you kind of relax back there, then all of a sudden you're reminded that you are at a ball game. Those baseballs are called hard balls for a reason.
Are playing hardball. 2 down. Here is Odubel Herrera, and there's that splitter again you were talking about, Mike. And he's thrown a couple of beauties in this inning.
He didn't even have that pitch last year when the Giants saw him for the first time. They saw him last year. He had a 4-seam fastball and a slider. Go get him. Now he's got 2 types of fastballs. He's tightened up the slider, and he's throwing that fork. And what a great pitch that is, especially the lefties.
Taken by Herrera this time.
You get that pitch down right there, where you get a consistency and you can throw it even in 3-1 or 3-2 counts. you will climb right up the ladder of the bullpen. That's how impressive that pitch is. When you're throwing 97 miles an hour, to have an off-speed pitch that is that convincing.
That's a base hit. First hit for Herrera, hit number 6 for the Phillies. With 2 down, they have a base runner, and Andres Blanco will come up. Well, the Phillies were at their best. They were at the top of their division. They were going to the postseason every year, going to the World Series 2 years in a row. They had Jimmy Rollins and Shane Victorino at the top of the order, and those guys were base stealers, and they made everybody nervous on the infield, made pitchers nervous when they got on base, and then they had a row of sluggers: Utley, Ryan Howard, Raul Ibanez, Pat Burrell. And that was a pretty good formula for them offensively for several years.
They were scary. And Rollins and Utley, I mean, they had power.
Two and 0. Giants bullpen springs into action once again. The left-hander Javier Lopez, George Cantos, the right-hander. The right-handed hitting, Michael Franco is on deck, and then Ryan Howard, who's been reliving some of the best of a few years back for the Phillies tonight. A homer and an RBI single for big Ryan Howard. Over the outside, 2-1.
97-mile-an-hour paint. That takes away count leverage.
Two and 1 the count to Andres Blanco, who has walked and scored a run, struck out and grounded out. Phillies went ahead with a 3-run 6, but the Giants responded with 5 in the last of the 6th. 6-4 Giants, and there's a called strike 2.
Paints him again at 97 miles per hour.
Phillies have action in their bullpen again with the Giants lefties coming up in the last of the 7th. The Phillies have their other lefty. They use Diekman in the 6th, and there is Araujo. Elvis Araujo getting ready. Likely for the last half of this inning. Base hit down the left field line. Blanco gets it back in. A double for Blanco, with Herrera stopping at third. And the Phillies have the possible tying runs in scoring position now with 2 down.
Good at bat. Tries to throw a little slider, and that's just a cement mixer. Just kind of hangs up there right at the belt, and an easy one to defend with 2 strikes, but really not a lot you can do defensively.
Tenth double of the year for Andres Blanco. And here comes Bruce Bochy. You've got the right-handed hitter, Franco, who's been the Phillies' best RBI man since he came up to the big leagues. And George Cantos will be brought in right here. Runners at second and third. 2 down in the 7th. 6-4 Giants. Don't go anywhere. Phillies with 2 down and nobody on, got a single by Odubel Herrera, followed by an Andres Blanco double, and so the possible tying runs are in scoring position. And the Phillies' top hitter since he came up a couple of months ago, Michael Franco, is coming up. So George Katos in for the pen to see if he can hang on to this advantage for the Giants.
Well, this has been his specialty this first half. I mean, Katos has been exceptional at coming into an existing inning and leaving inherited runners on without them scoring. He's come into games and he's had inherited 23 runners. He has not allowed one to score. And here he's got 2 on.
Strickland looking on from the dugout. Those are his base runners out there. Franco has singled, grounded to third, and lined out to left center. Little squibber. There's nobody at first base. Katos beats him to the bag. Both Belt and Katos were going for the ball. Katos swept it up and took it in for the touchdown. Belt.
One night, they will all happen in one place. So don't miss the 86 All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, Tuesday, July 14th, and you will see it live from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati.
For the Phillies, who are trailing the Giants 6-4, there is Elvis Araujo in for the bullpen. And Mike, you see his numbers there, and he's given up a few more hits than innings pitched, and quite a few walks as well.
Well, Elvis has left the bullpen, and he is now on the hill. And the numbers that Phillies would like to see go away are the high walk totals. He's got a good fastball. It goes low to mid-90s. Hard slider.
On 1 to Brandon Belt, who is 1 for 3. He doubled leading off the second inning, and then moments later scored the Giants' first run of the game on a Crawford triple. The slider, 1-1.
Phillies bullpen really has been the strength of their pitching staff. Collectively, their ERA is 3.65. That's exactly what the Giants' bullpen's ERA is, 3.65. The starters for the Phillies, their collective ERA is 5.45, and that has been the problem. Giants starting staff 3.91. But the Phillies ERA for the starters at 5.45, that ranks them last in the National League. But the bullpen has been pretty solid. And they've got a lot of young arms that throw hard.
2-2 now to Belt. And because of that starting pitching trouble, the bullpen has worked hard too. They get called on a lot. Brandon Belt flips that one into right field. Base hit.
Well, this is the play that ended it for the Phillies off the bat of Franco. And if Contos doesn't come up with that ball, it's going to be a run. The inning keeps going because Brandon Belt had committed to the ball, which you're supposed to do. But Contos making a fantastic play to scoop that thing up and then have the leg speed to be able to beat Franco out to first to end the inning. Nice play.
Brandon Crawford, who has had 3 hits in 3 at-bats, a triple to knock in a run, a bunt single, and then he singled to start the rally in the 6th inning. Belt steps back in the bag.
Ooh, almost a balk there. Araujo's a tall guy. He's 6'6", lanky, and he's got a real good move to first base. So you have to be careful with your lead. I don't care how big your lead is, how small it is. You have to be careful. And you know that Bob McClure, who had maybe the best throwing pickoff move for a left-handed pitcher of all times, was the guy that taught him.
1 ball and no strikes to Brandon Crawford. 25 runners inherited by George Contos, and not one of them has scored.
Now that's a stat that will jump off the page. That separates a reliever from the rest of the herd.
A key stat. I mean, you can look at ERA and WHIP and all kinds of stuff with a reliever, but the fact of the matter is they come in with other people's runners on base all the time, and the ability to keep those runners from scoring can often be the difference between winning and losing, even though it might not be something that would be counted to their record if those runs did score.
Well, Javier Lopez, another guy who's having a remarkable first half. He's inherited 39 and has allowed only 5 to score. I mean, that's a great stat. But Contos has had a perfect paper. 25 for 25. Bob McClure, the pitching coach for the Philadelphia Phillies, I've seen him pick guys off that were literally 2 feet off the bag. That's how good his pickup move was.
So he must have picked that up while he was at the College of San Mateo. They get the force out at second, and then the out will stand. And Brandon Belt went in hard on Galvis, who could not make a throw back to first.
Well, your job, if you're the runner at first base on a ground ball, is to put heat on a middle infield and try and break it up.
And that you're supposed to be able to touch the bag, or that could be a double play. You're sliding into the runner and not to the bag.
And he just touches the left foot with his left arm, but it definitely broke the play up.
So now Crawford is aboard, and Blanco, who has had 2 more hits tonight, now hitting .313 for the season. This is a guy off the bench, .380 on base percentage. And with all the injuries for the Giants, Pence has missed so many games. Pagan has missed several. Aoki's been on the disabled list. And he's been playing a lot, and he's been delivering. He really fueled that rally in the 6th inning with his drag bunt up the first baseline.
Well, Aoki has indeed been on the disabled list, but he has found a way to help this team, and he's helped this man right here. And Gregor Blanco will tell you all about it. He really changed his whole approach, and with Blanco being able to watch Aoki and the way that he uses his hands, he started doing the same type of adjustments with his hands in his swing, and it made him a lot quicker to the ball. It made him able to cover the higher pitch. Javier Lopez finishing off his throws. And really, the difference has been night and day for Blanco, especially with 2 strikes.
His numbers are very similar to the numbers of Aoki this year. 3-1. Araujo missing a little bit high. The Brewers, meanwhile, have a 7-0 lead over the Dodgers. They're going to the last of the 8th inning down at Dodger Stadium on the out-of-town scoreboard. 3-1 to Blanco. And 3-2.
Perfect location at 94. Joaquin Arias coming out on deck.
The pitcher's spot is due up next. And it's a walk. Aoki was here tonight before the game and out on the field. He's got that cast off. And Bruce Bochy was saying yesterday that the latest word on Aoki is that he might be back in a couple of weeks. And the original thinking was that maybe a couple of weeks after the All-Star break was over. But and a couple of weeks puts it at the Giants' next homestand. The first Friday night would be exactly 2 weeks from last night after the All-Star break. So that would be exciting news for the Giants because he really was the igniter, the guy who just made things happen as the Phillies go to their bullpen. And it will be Ken Giles coming in. Hard throwing right-handed with 2 men on, 1 man out in the 7th. Stay with us. The Giants bat here in the last of the 7th. 2 men on, and Ken Giles, who may be the closer of the future, and with a lot of talk that Jonathan Papelbon may be traded here at least sometime before the trading deadline or by the trading deadline, then he might be the closer sooner rather than later.
Well, he's got closer stuff. You see the strikeout total, 46 and 37 innings. He's a mid to high 90s fastball guy with a hard slider. And he's got a high 3/4 release, which causes his slider to have a lot of tilt. It is a strikeout slider to lefties and righties. And he's also got the temperament. Cesar Hernandez comes in at second base on the double switch.
So Andres Blanco is out. Adrianza, the pinch hitter for George Cantos, fouls one into the crowd off the left field line. Switch hitter batting left-handed. He's had 1 hit and 10 at bats so far since his call up from Sacramento in the Pacific Coast League. Pagan is on deck. Brandon Crawford at second. Gregor Blanco at first. Hit down the right field line, foul. That was a laser beam, but he was a little quick on it. 0-2. So Araujo ends up going 1/3 of an inning through 15 pitches. And those 2 base runners out there belong to him. Giles is the 5th Phillies pitcher of the game. The bullpen has been roughed up. And the fastball at 97 miles an hour, fouled out of play off to the left. The starter, Buchanan, who was always in trouble and almost always got out of it. 5 innings, he gave up 8 hits, but only 1 run. But the bullpen, in an inning and a third, has given up 5 runs and 6 hits and a couple of, in fact, 3 walks. Adrianza trying to make something happen here. Crawford at second, Blanco at first. 1 out. Another fastball, and again he's able to hit it foul off the left field line by the Giants bullpen, where Javier Lopez is getting ready.
He tried to elevate that above the strike zone. That caught a little bit too much strike zone there. It's kind of a mistake he got away with. But at 97, you can get away with those location mistakes.
A slider, and he does well to fight that one off.
And that was a protective stay alive hack. Pretty good one, I might add.
He is a cousin of longtime Major League shortstop and a former Major League manager, Ozzie Guillen, both from Venezuela. Fastball low and outside. 98 miles an hour from Giles. Belt led off the inning with a single. Crawford hit into a force play, then Blanco walked. 2 on, 1 out. Off the glove of Ryan Howard into right field, and Crawford around third. He'll come in to score, and Blanco around to third. 7-4 Giants.
What a nice at bat for Adrianza. The importance of having a good emergency swing to fight off a pitch to live to see another one. Here's a fastball down at the knees, high velocity, and it kind of explodes up on Howard, who can't handcuff. He gets handcuffed, he can't harness it. And an easy score for Brandon Crawford. So Adrianza sees 7 pitches, he fouls off 5, and he comes up clutch with a 2-strike count. Nice at bat.
So here now is Pagan. And they may have charged an error to Ryan Howard. Pagan, who had the big hit, the 2-run double that really got that 5-run 6th inning going.
Well, this ball explodes up on Howard. And I don't know how you could, I mean, at ultra slow motion, it doesn't look like much of an explosion. But he got handcuffed. And I don't believe it should be an error, and it has indeed been ruled an error. I think it should be a hit. That's one that the Giants PR department will contest. That I can guarantee you. This is what we're talking about.
Two and 0 now to Pagan. Pagan had a couple of RBIs last night and 2 more tonight. And that was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, fouled out of play.
This is a clutch at bat that came in the 6th inning. 2-strike count, 2 outs. Goes down and gets a slider and just rakes it on a 1-hop off the right field wall. The Giants would get within 1 run. But that was the real shot in the arm for the Giants dugout.
Runners at first and third, 1 out, 1 in. Let's see if they can turn 2 here. There's the tag for 1. Well, they didn't tag him, so a run has scored. Adrianza did well to keep from getting tagged as they run him down now, but he's already done his job. He avoided that tag attempt by Hernandez, and that allowed the run to score. It is 8-4 Giants.
Heads up play.
For the final game of the series and the final game of the pre-All-Star break portion of the season. And we'll be back with you on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network with the first game after the break this coming Friday the 17th at 6:30 for the Giants and the D-backs from the desert, Chase Field in Phoenix. 8-4 Giants. And for the Giants, Javier Lopez is in to pitch. The Giants go into the big overshift for Ryan Howard, who will lead off against him.
And those are great numbers. Just 18 base runners in 23 innings. The league hitting 145 against him.
By the way, Angel Pagan does get an RBI for that last run that scored on what ended up being a double play. Ball goes foul. Ryan Howard, who put the Phillies ahead back in the 6th inning with a home run against Ryan Vogelsong.
Well, a curveball that he managed to get underneath, and with his strength, yanked it right out of here, just off the facing of the little tin roof out there above the right field wall.
And that is a ground rule in this ballpark. If it hits that tin roof, whether it's on top or right as you say, right off the edge of it, if it hits the tin roof, that's a home run. That's the ground rule in this ballpark. Sergio Romo, the right-hander, up in the Giants bullpen. Howard has knocked in 2 of the Phillies' 4 runs in this game with that homer and earlier single. 2-2 the count. And these guys, they've been battling each other for a long time. Howard 2 hits in 12 career at bats, and that does not include the 2010 League Championship Series, where it seemed if Howard was coming up in the 7th inning or later, Lopez was facing him. That was it.
Utley, Howard, and here comes Lopez.
3-2 now.
And he was just spectacular in that series. And you can say that about every one of the Giants' runs. They've had the core 4 in their bullpen. Casilla, Javier Lopez, Sergio Romo, Jeremy Affeldt, and just one clutch performance after another. And they have all 3 rings with the Giants. Javier Lopez, he has another ring with the Boston Red Sox.
Back in 2007, he was with the Red Sox team that beat the Colorado Rockies in the World Series. 3-2. Strike 3 call. Howard begs to differ.
Well, it's not like we haven't seen low strikes tonight. I think Todd Tichenor has really had a good strike zone. And he's been pretty consistent down around there, right at the knees.
Lopez on in relief of George Cantos, who got out of a tight spot. Phillies had the possible tying runs in scoring position when Cantos came in and retired the guy who's been the Phillies' best hitter, Michael Franco, on a ball that was handled by Cantos. So now Lopez facing the right-handed hitting Ruiz. Another lefty due up next, Cody Ashe.
Just a bit low.
8th inning, the Giants lead 8-4. That double play, by the way, on which Pagan got the run batted in because of the base running efforts of Adrianza, who did not allow the second baseman Hernandez to tag him out. If he tagged him out, then he would have thrown to first. Double play, the run doesn't score, the inning would have been over. But the fact that he finally made them throw the ball to first base and then they had to go after him, the run scored. It was not a force out on which the inning ended. That allowed the run to score.
Oh, he got a hero's welcome coming back to the Giants dugout, as he should. I didn't know if it was called that way initially. I thought he may have gone out of the base pass and the play would have been dead, but indeed he did not go out of the base pass. And as you pointed out, it turned out to be a very heads-up play. Got his teammate another RBI, got his team a run.
And he was, I will say, a little late maybe in deciding, hey, I better not get tagged, because he was right next to the second baseman by that time. But he did not allow himself to be tagged, and that got the Giants an extra run. 3-2 the count to Ruiz. Out into a fairly deep left center. Blanco, 2 down.
Nice to have a couple of center fielders out there on your defense in the outfield. Well, this is the play. Your job as a base runner, you cannot get touched. And you saw that Hernandez separated his hands, and he went to touch him with the glove that had no ball in it. And when he got back to the dugout, there you see the welcome from his teammates as they appreciated that effort. And the Giants put another run on the board because of it.
So Kobayashi now against the left-hander, 2 down and ball 1. I will say, and hey, I'm not a base running coach, I'm just a broadcaster, but maybe stop a couple of steps sooner next time.
Don't make me nervous.
It worked out. All's well that ends well. Brandon Belt, tough hop, and the put out for Javier Lopez. Strong inning from the veteran left-hander. Panic, Duffy, and Buster Posey coming up for the Giants, 8-4.
His 100th hit of the season. Of course, he added another one tonight. And I spoke to the Giants hitting instructor Bam Bam Newlands about him. He said what he likes about Joe Panik is his consistent approach and mechanics. He has very few moving parts. He's got a great eye and he's quick to the ball. But he said Joe's best asset, guys, his attitude. He said he has a great demeanor, even-keeled. He can take the good with the bad with the same temperament. And that means to Bam Bam, he's destined to be one of the great players in the game, guys.
Well, and Amy, that's a very interesting assessment, because I think, Mike, when you look at great players over the years, I think that's a common trait among the very best players. They have an even temperament. They might be guys who play hard, guys who play with passion and whatnot, but they're able to discard the bad days and not get totally overtaken because they had a real good day.
That's the key. It's a season that really is a marathon, and if you emotionally get too high when you're going good and you get too down when you're going bad, you won't last. And that is one of his strengths. He comes there every day ready to go.
John Mark Gomez, the new pitcher for the Phillies, and Panik is retired. He's 1 for 4 with a walk in this one.
Comcast Sportsnet has complete Giants coverage on Sportsnet Central every night at 10:30 p.m. Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports. But I think that's a great compliment you give a player, is that he does have an even temperament. Guys like that last a long time.
Here is Matt Duffy, a 4-hit game last night, and so far tonight 3 more hits, a single, a double, and a triple. Called a strike.
Saw Jinmar Gomez last night. He's got a low 90s fastball with a slider and a changeup. And the other compliment that veteran players will give young players when they come up and they'll say, what kind of guy is so? What kind of ball player is he? Well, they'll say he's a ball player. If you get labeled a ball player, those two words, there's no greater compliment. And being able to maintain an even temperament is part of the makeup of a ball player.
And that's sort of a quote, a ball player, end quote.
Yeah, you understand situation. You know how to make adjustments within an at-bat. You know how to make adjustments within a game. You see the little things that. Quick pitcher. Talking about Gomez. No, he didn't foul it off. He struck him out. Watch him come in a quick pitch. There it is. We're seeing more and more of that around the league. It really is a good thing to do if you're a pitcher. What is hitting? It's timing. What is pitching? It's upsetting the timing. And don't let a guy time your motion. And Gomez did not. He quick pitched him and he got the strikeout.
Well, you can't do that if there are runners on base working out of the stretch.
Cannot.
But with nobody on, guys who work out of the stretch, they can do almost anything. LaTroy Hawkins is one who just does that all the time.
All the time. And we're seeing Gene Machi has started doing it for the Giants. Yusmeiro Petit will do it. It's effective. If you get an out with it or a strike with it, it's great.
Buster Posey, he's had 2 hits. And a run batted in. Hitting .305 for the year now. 2 down, nobody on. 8th inning. The Giants ahead 8-4. Sergio Romo warming up in the bullpen as we look forward to the 9th inning. Just off the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 41,980. The paid crowd, a sellout crowd at AT&T Park this evening. Giants, who at one point were trailing in this game 4-1, but not for long. No sooner had the Phillies scored 3 in the 6th to take a 4-1 lead than the Giants turned around and scored 5 in the last of the 6th. And the Giants, that was their first lead of the night. Pagan a 2-run double, Duffy a 2-run triple, and then Posey knocked in the 5th run of that inning with a single to right. Dodgers have lost their game down in Milwaukee, meanwhile, on the out-of-town scoreboard. 7-1 Milwaukee. 3-2 now to Buster Posey. There's the final, posted on the hand-operated scoreboard here at AT&T Park.
Brewers have really turned their fortunes around the last couple weeks. They're playing good ball. Got some people back. Jonathan Lucroy is back.
And a name maybe to keep in mind. We haven't seen him. He's just up. Taylor Youngman pitched a complete game to beat the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Buster Posey, base hit to right field. 3rd hit of the game for Buster.
He's doing what he does so well on a 2-seam fastball coming back from outside, working its way into the strike zone. Just staying inside it and going to right field. Just such a perfect swing of balance from either way you look at it, front side, back side. It's just a thing of beauty, and it's the swing that he showed up with when he broke into the big leagues.
Hunter Pence, who's 0 for 4 in this game, called a strike. Although his last time up, he scalded one, and according to the MLB at bat app, it left his bat at 108 miles an hour. Just hit a shot, but right to the right fielder for an out. He's also struck out a couple of times. Right to the second baseman. Well, fortunately for Pence, the Giants have scored 8 other runs. On to the 9th inning. 8-4 Giants. and investigations from NBC Bay Area News, plus your favorite NBC shows, live and on demand. Simply download the NBC Bay Area app. Select Watch Live TV now. From the menu, register, and you're good to go. Sergio Romo. For the ninth inning, 8-4, the Giants lead the Phillies, and Cesar Hernandez, who entered the game as part of a double switch at second base, takes a called strike. His first plate appearance of the game. Freddie Galvis is on deck, and Jeff Francoeur due up third in the inning. Beauty.
That's a sinker. It's not a changeup. That's a fastball with a two-seam grip, a big-time movement. You're going to get that movement if you're throwing low three-quarter like Romo is to a left-handed hitter.
Belt. Romo over to cover the bag, but Belt takes it himself, just beating the fast-moving Hernandez to the bag. One away.
Well, this play has a little personality on it at the very end. Hernandez busted his tail down that line, made it interesting.
Galvis has popped up to short, tripled to center field, and grounded out to first. Switch hitter batting left-handed, and it's 0-1. Romo is the sixth Giants pitcher to appear in this game. Vogelsong started, went 5 2/3, charged with 4 runs, and really he had only allowed 1 run in 5 2/3 innings, and they gave up a couple of homers to the last 3 batters he faced. Into the gap in left center field. Pagan cuts it off as he bumps into Blanco on a double for Galvis. So Pagan and Blanco came together. And could have been that it was just incidental contact.
Well, he really splits the defense right between Pagan and Blanco. And that could have been bad, but looks like everybody's all right. Good and bad from Galvis. He's had 2 really nice ABs tonight. A triple over the head of Pagan, and now this double here with 1 out.
Jeff Francoeur, who struck out his first time, that was in the 7th. He entered the game in the 6th inning on a double switch. And that slider spins in there for a called strike. Francoeur 1 for 4 in his career against Romo. There is Casilla, the Giants closer. So he'll be ready if needed here. If there's any closing that needs to be done. 8-4 now, the Giants leading. 1 hop right to panic. Plenty of time. Galvis takes third as Francoeur is out. 2 down. And to the top of the order for Odubel Herrera. By the way, we're told from the official scores table downstairs that, just for the record, Pagan will not get credit for an RBI on that double play to end the 7th inning.
That ruling doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure that will be contested, asked about.
2 down in the 9th inning. 8-4 Giants. 1-1.
One thing about Herrera, he is not up there to take. He is up there to hack.
One strike to count. 2 down, runner at third. The slider in the dirt. Tomorrow, Heston versus Billingsley. And that is how that double play went. 4-3 to 6-3 to 6. And I think you could throw in a couple of other numbers in there.
Well, that was kind of, it sounded like a song. 4 to 3 to 6 to 3 to 6. It's not 8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 0, 9, but it's, you know, it's just a start.
I think I've called that number several times.
I think we all have, John.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. And there was Odubel Herrera. It looked like he was trying to assist the umpire. Or maybe his base. Who was he waving at?
I think he was waving at Bam Bam Mullins. I mean, over the Giants dugout. He's going to say, I think it's a little bit wide. Hey, Bam Bam, what it is.
Two and 1 the count. Wide open stance, feet very wide apart. And 3 and 1.
I mean, he's got a huge leg hitch, as you point out. I mean, where a guy starts and where he winds up, 2 different things, but he's extremely wide. And then he really gets all of his weight in the back foot as he's lifting up that front foot. Just a lot of moving parts.
He has had 1 hit tonight in 4 at-bats and struck out twice. .265 batting average for the year. Galvis over third with 2 down. Popped up foul, and this will come well back out of play. Into the lower deck, well back behind the plate. 3 and 2. Everybody on their feet now with 2 down. Romo trying to end it right here. 3 and 2 to Herrera, who takes his time getting back in the box. Posey gives the sign. And another foul out of play. So they'll try it again.
So Herrera doing what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get up there and die hard. And he's put up a battle for Romo.
Herrera outside the batter's box, making Romo wait. Now Romo steps away from the slab. He'll make Herrera wait. Now Herrera decided to make Romo wait. Now we're ready. 3 and 2. Pitch on the way. Center field. Pagan going back, hurrying back, still going. It is off the wall. Galvis scores, and Herrera stops at second with a double. It is 8-5 Giants, with Blanco coming up, and Bruce Bochy will bring Santiago Casilla into this game after all.
What a great at bat for Herrera.
He fouled off some tough pitches. due up next for the Phillies. He had departed the game already in a double switch. The pitcher's spot was due up, and so Ben Revere is the pinch hitter for the pitcher against Santiago Casilla, who starts him with a sinking fastball for a called strike.
Taking a look at the numbers for Casillas, the 38th time he's come in. 21 saves on the year, 4-2 with a 3.19 ERA. 31 strikeouts in 31 innings. Looking to get one out.
Curves him, strike two. Brandon Crawford. And the Giants make it 2 in a row over the Phillies as Casilla comes in to wrap it up. Giants 8, Phillies 5, a come from behind victory for the Giants, and the offense speaking loudly for the second game in a row here against the Phils.
Indeed, a 15-hit night, down 3 runs in comeback fashion, and a 5-run sixth. Wow, those are things they've been looking for a while, and they're getting it with the bats now.
8-5, the Giants over the Phillies. Quite a night here at the ballpark. One more game to go before the All-Star break, and we'll come back. We'll have more here from AT&T Park right after this.